Hi, sisters. Welcome to the Sisterhood Spotlight series, where I interview one of the brilliant women in my personal sisterhood so that you can really understand how possible it is for you to create the life and business that you've always dreamed of having. So today, I'm so excited to welcome Tera. She is an amazing nutrition coach and trainer, and she's going to talk with us a little bit today about really creating a life of adventure and creating a life where healthy doesn't mean deprivation, and it doesn't mean counting calories or weighing ourselves on a scale like crazy and really obsessing over weight, but in a way that it is actually sustainable and makes for a really fun experience. So, hi, Tera.
Hi, Emily. Thank you for inviting me on this thing, and thank you for
You're
creating
welcome.
this space for all kinds of women to kind of tell what they do and go from there.
Of course. I'm so happy to have you today. And especially because I just came off of your 2-week beta test program for Homegrown, which is your new program that you're going to be really launching in October, I believe, and we'll talk about that a little more later. But I can't tell you how much better I feel now just after having that little amount of time where I was really intentional about health, because I am normally pretty good about keeping up with my rituals and being pretty healthy. But the way that you made it so accessible for me was so nice and so manageable throughout those 2 weeks. And I just felt I had so much energy after, I didn't change anything else other than just doing one of the daily tips each day and what you recommended in the program. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
I'm
so
feeling
excited
so much more energized.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because I know you were traveling throughout, and that's something that I really wanted to get your opinion on specifically, because it is something that you can do anywhere and that you can do on your own. It's just a matter of being reminded of, some simple changes, some simple swaps that's going to carry you through with such ease, and you're going to just have that energy, have that glowing skin, just naturally with eating good, real foods. And it's so exciting. I'm glad that you had that experience.
Yeah. And actually, it's funny that you say glowing skin, because I was complimented on that at the retreat that I went to when I was doing the cleanse. So it's true, everyone.
That's awesome.
It really works.
I love it.
So you are such an expert in this field and in nutrition and really healthy lifestyles in general. And I know that you do some training and you do some coaching, and you're just you're expert. You just radiate to me expert status. So tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are now, because I know there are a lot of women in this community who are interested in this kind of career that you and I both have, where we're able to have the freedom to work from home or create our own schedule, travel for a month like I'm doing right now as I'm filming this. So it's really, I want this for everyone. I want them to feel this amazing feeling that I have, and I know you probably have too. So tell us a little bit about what your journey has been like to get to where you are today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool for me because everyone that I've worked with or anyone that I speak to about this kind of a thing, I've been there. I've counted the calories. I've been on the scale a billion times a day. And, I've gotten on the elliptical for hours, and it's this cycle where you think you're doing things and you think you're getting healthier and you think the 100-calorie packs are better. But I actually got involved. I got introduced to health when I drove the Wienermobile for one whole year.
I love this story.
It was, so my very first real job was working for Oscar Mayer Corporate. Hilarious in itself, a hot dog company, a big corporation. So I'm like, I was a marketing, a PR major, and it was perfect at the time. So I actually me and another person, there was a team of us, but 2 people per Wienermobile, and we, did our thing all around the country. And it was very up and down that year, health-wise. So I would super yo-yo, just the way that everybody else does it. You want to I was home maybe 4 times that year, but those 4 times I wanted to look freaking awesome when I came back.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that meant spending an hour every evening on the elliptical or watching everything I ate, things like that. And then I finally stumbled I was watching an E segment. It was on like E News, I think, and it was a celebrity nutritionist who was just preaching this whole foods, plant-based diet about the energy she felt and how her body just naturally fell into the right form for her body, because it's very specific, and it all came down to the foods that she was putting into her body. And I just got kind of taken over by this news segment. So I remember I was in our hotel room was right by Target. So I got in the Wienermobile and drove to Target and bought her book and read it.
I'm just imagining you being like, oh my gosh, I'm so struck by this thing. I'm going to get in my Wienermobile now and like drive to Target and buy this book. And like you pull up in this hot dog.
My corporate car.
So funny.
So yeah, I roll up in the Wienermobile and I'm like, hey guys, take your pictures. I went in there and I grabbed the book, and the nutritionist is Kimberly Snyder, and everyone should check her out. She's phenomenal, and she's very connected to her spirituality, and it just really ties into what she's eating as well. And I just fell in love with the idea of nutrition. And after I had, finished my job, I looked further into nutrition programs. I stumbled over the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, which is IIN. And after a few months of some serious research, I finally decided to pull the trigger, and I just enrolled. I was obsessed with it, and I knew that it wasn't, I'm sure when you fall into this kind of a world, you don't fall out of it. You just fall further down the rabbit hole. So I still have the bug that I caught then, and that's pretty much how I ended up here right now so far.
Beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. I feel like it's so easy to think that, someone who is doing something that we aspire to do just somehow had some magical opportunity that we didn't have, or resources that we didn't have, or whatever. And it's really that's why I want to do this video series, is because it's so important to know that behind the scenes, everybody is going through the same stuff. And everybody is has a moment where they're working for Oscar Mayer equivalent that feels so silly and not aligned with who they really are. And then they have this moment where it's oh, this all makes sense. And maybe one of these videos will be a moment like that for somebody, which would be really cool. But, it's just so important to know that we are totally capable, and it's so possible to have that. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah. And I think that everybody has that story, sort of, in some way or another. Everybody has that moment where they're like, what am I going to do? This isn't it. This isn't what I'm going to do, but what am I going to do?
Yeah, I remember that moment distinctly. So tell us a little bit about one of the things that I'm really passionate about, which is that we're all leaders, and we all have a purpose, and we all have a really unique mission in the world to fulfill. And so I'm wondering, what is your mission, and what does that look like in your day-to-day life and in your business?
Yeah, so I am kind of rediscovering this question every day, but it's the journey that's exciting. My mission is to show people that health can be fun, and it can be exciting, and it can be really naturally easy and really affordable. There's people tend to worry about spending a little bit extra money on an organic piece of produce, but they don't bat an eyelash when it's a couple $100 supplement that they see on an infomercial, and that's going to be a temporary fix. So if we just switch some mindsets, and we kind of show people spending a few extra cents on your grocery cart is just the exact change that you need to kind of shift your entire lifestyle. And it's going to be really simple, and it's going to be such a beautiful experience. You can't help but fall in love with it when I get like excited just talking. I'm getting chills because I am so obsessed with it. But I think even for people that don't necessarily think that they could get excited about things like this, you still do. My sister's a perfect example. She was in our test group, and she is a sugar fiend. She can't go a day without it. And she went 2 weeks with, I think one day she had cream and sugar in her coffee. And I was like, Kate, that's fine. Good job. But you made so much progress. And I think it's just a matter of, once you change a few things, then your whole life just becomes that journey and that exciting adventure. And even if it's not a lifestyle switch, like quitting a job. I mean, some people aren't happy in their job. Maybe it's not the company, maybe it's just their position. And once you kind of start figuring or piecing things together for yourself and becoming happier from within, then you just start projecting things and attracting the things in your outside world that you're projecting from the inside. And it's really exciting. I can't wait for people to figure it out through us or on their own. It's just such a wonderful experience.
Yeah, that's so true. One of the things that came up for me at the retreat actually was that this realization that, like, I already knew this in a way, but it just became so much more clear, is that the journey and the mission is really to become more of who we already are. So if you think back to like who you were when you were 5 and the things that you were interested in, the things that you were doing then, it's almost like that was a window into your purpose today, which is really cool to think about. And I think it's so cool that you said that about like changing who you are on the inside, because with food and with nutrition, you literally alter your chemistry from the inside out, and you can then start to radiate a different level of energy and call things in that you wouldn't have called in before, because you literally couldn't, your body wasn't healthy enough or wasn't vibrant enough to be able to call those things in. That's a little out there and woo-woo, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're on the same page there for sure.
So I know also something that I really love to hear about other women who are doing things that I admire is how do you walk your talk? Like, what do you do day to day that really helps you live out your mission in your own personal life? What does that look like for you? So I'd love to hear from you a little bit about what that is.
Yeah. Again, this is always my life is not perfect by any means. I am not a strict 100%, only meat, vegetables, and, this and that. My life is so, it's just a little bit chaotic at times, and it's such a beautiful chaos, and you have to almost step back sometimes and say, this is fine. I wake up every day and I'm like, what is going to happen today? This is such a cool thought. I'm grateful to wake up and like experience this strange day that's about to happen. Mm-hmm. But as far as walking the talk, I think it's very much what we're doing. It's putting things out there that educate other people on some things that they didn't know, or that, they can share with other people. A major thing with Homegrown that we'll talk about later is that I want people to be able to take what they learn from the program, and I want them to show someone else or their family or a loved one. I want this message to be spread so that we can just start this whole movement of people living such fulfilled lives and getting their shoes and socks off and standing in the ground and drinking more water and having that spiritual connection of whatever sort of thing it is. And I think the best way I can go about that is just I make choices. We all make choices every single day. And it's just a matter of being in the moment and letting yourself experience that moment with no harsh judgment on yourself at all. You just, if I'm at Butter Joint and I want to have the hamburger with the bun, I'm eating that bun, man. I'm eating it. And I'm going to get a beer, and I'm going to love every sip and every bite of that. And I know I'm going to wake up a little bit groggy the next morning, but I'll be like, shit, that was so good. I'm not
I love that that's your philosophy too, because I definitely, like, I can't stand being around people who are like, oh, well, I can't have that because whatever reason, like, I'm whatever.
Yeah.
And I get it if you're doing it for a limited amount of time. I think that's valuable, like we did with homegrown, but the overall like lifestyle, I feel like deprivation is just not the reason we're here, and it just puts us in a lack mentality and a lack kind of state of being where we think, oh, I can't have that, and it translates into other areas of our lives, not just food, right? Like you think, okay, I really want to leave my job, but I can't have that, or for some reason, like I don't deserve to experience all the joy that's available to me in the world, whether that's through food or whether that's in my career or whether that's through a relationship or whatever it is, right? It kind of spills over.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I cut you off a little bit. Did you have
No,
something
you were
else to
fine.
say?
No,
Okay.
it's just, yeah, like I said, whenever you're in those moments, it's restriction is fine. Like you said, at some points, there have been times when I've been very strict on, I don't want to eat this and I don't want to eat that and I don't want to drink, and I can still go out and I can have the time of my life and dance my ass off somewhere and not drink anything. And
Mm-hmm.
then there are times when I go out and someone's carrying me home. And you know what? It's just, I consider myself like a realistic naturalist. I try to do
Mm-hmm.
things as natural as possible, but I have a car and I, participate in corporations from time to time by buying different products out. It's all a game. It's just a matter of how we choose to play it at what point in the game. So
Yeah, and I think that's also such a great point, because the value of being around you and being, working with you and all of that stuff is really that you take such a sustainable perspective into every area of your life. Like, it's not just about the food being seasonal and local, and it's not just about the environmental impact or the carbon footprint or whatever. It's really like everything all together, and what can we do to make better choices,
yeah.
in that way, about our health and about the health of the environment at large, and all those things. So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
really cool. Pittsburgh is so exciting to be a part of right now because of this food movement. Our restaurant scene is the farm to table aspect at our really good, and even some just, normal restaurants. Everybody's, strangely enough, I think Eaton Park in Squirrel Hill is trying to source local vegetables for their salad bar. That's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Good for them. I mean, what an exciting thing. I get so amped up on it because we have so many opportunities to support local farmers or support local establishments that are in this fight as well. And Pittsburgh it seems like we just have a huge focus here. There are farmers markets everywhere, and farmers markets are the easiest way to eat local because they can only grow what's like seasonally growing that time of year. So if you want to eat seasonally, farmers markets you're not going to get anything but seasonal produce. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah, such a good thing. We're so lucky to live in Pittsburgh and have those resources available, for sure.
Yeah.
So we've been talking, like hinting a little bit at homegrown this whole conversation, and I kind of want to give you the opportunity to tell everybody what that really is, and what it's about, and what kind of inspired you to create it, and anything else that you want to add to that, because it's an amazing program. And I know, like, after just 2 weeks, which is only half the time of what the actual full program will be, I felt so different and just so awesome and so energized and so able to like pop out of bed in the morning and be ready, and everything. Like, I can't even say enough great things. So
Yeah,
tell us a little
I'm
bit.
so glad to hear. And I'm so appreciative of that feedback because that's what that 2 weeks was about. I did, the program itself is a 4-week program. It's kind of a nutrition and lifestyle based program where we introduce some ideas about nutrition and movement, moving your body just naturally or during a workout regimen, every day. There's going to be 3 weeks. So the 4-week period, it's going to be the 3 weeks of a more strict, intimate setting within a group. So I think it's going to be 10 people, and we're going to have the same kind of setup. It'll be a Facebook group, and with that, so that's accountability, but it's also going to be intimate enough where I can step in and kind of help people through the month of this transition period, and really give them the attention that they need. I wanted this to be as close to one-on-one health coaching as I could do with a group. So I think that, and we had a really large group, which is awesome because I had never worked with that many people at once before, and I was a little bit nervous of being able to give everyone individual attention if they needed it, and not everyone needed it, but I would say about half of the group had reached out to me numerous times privately, and I was very happy with how manageable a group like that was. So Homegrown is going to be that 4-week program of lifestyle, nutrition, movement, and just kind of really realizing that the person that you want to become is in there. We just have to do some work. We really have to nourish our bodies. It's huge. It just clears your mind, but in a really, really fascinating way that you can control. And it's really not hard to control it. It's just that we've been so confused over my whole lifetime of things that we're supposed to be eating or the way that we're supposed to be moving our bodies. You're not supposed to do anything. You're supposed to try to tune into your body and figure out what's best for you. Everybody's so individual. What works for you isn't going to work for me, and vice versa. And it's just a matter. This program is so cool because it gives people the opportunity to take some tools and then use it on themselves. So it's a little bit unstructured in the way that you get to make the structure. I don't have strict meal plans with it for that reason. A couple people asked me for a meal plan, and I thought I was like, okay, I have to do a meal plan. I'm going to do a meal plan. Then I thought, no, I'm not, because I want people to start to listen to their bodies. And once they do, and they realize, I don't want Cheetos. I just want like some sodium. I want a food with sodium in it, or I don't necessarily want sugar, but I want something sweet, and that can be satiated with such a better option than a donut or something to that effect. But another really exciting aspect of it is that it's almost an introduction into holistic health for people that don't know, as I didn't, anything about it. And I had everybody watch the documentary Fed Up, which I still think anybody listening, if you haven't seen it yet, go see it. It's a wealth of knowledge, and it's very interesting. And it kind of blew my mind how little the group did know about different aspects of sugar and corporations and things like that. That I keep myself in this strange little bubble of people that know things like this. And I do remind myself that people don't know the same information, but that it is almost my responsibility to pass along what I know and what I learned from here, which is another cool part. I mean, Homegrown's only going to improve from here. So this is just the starting point, but I'm excited about it. So there's going to be 3 weeks of a little bit of structure, and then 1 week will be a transition period where I step back and I let people kind of live the life that they will naturally kind of step into, but there's going to be questions along the way, and I don't want to cut off and leave people completely hanging and confused. I want there to be a transition period where if someone's out at a store and they see something that they want to try, but they're not positive, they can shoot me a text, or, we can talk about it on a phone call or an email, something like that. So that's a really exciting aspect of it that I have never seen something like that before, and I'm excited to kind of play with it and see how it goes. I think it's going to be a really wonderful aspect.
Yeah, and that's such a good point. That's something I really loved about the program, was that there wasn't a structure that felt too structured to the point where you couldn't kind of like make it up and fit it in the way that you wanted to into your day. And also that you didn't have a meal plan, but you provided all these resources for us, like amazing food blogs that you really highly recommend. And like we could have fun with that. And I think it's cool too, because as you do the program, the season's going to change. So the things that we would have been eating in the summer to be aligned with the homegrown philosophy of eating as much local as possible would change going into fall. So, and in winter it's going to be different, and in spring it's going to be different. So it's really cool. And I think it's really empowering, because once you don't have someone telling you what to do, that's not really the point. The point is to empower someone to be able to know where the resources are to be able to sustain this change. Yeah. So I thought it was really
Yay! Emily got it. She's a star student.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Very exciting. It's something that I feel like I've been working on since I got involved in nutrition. It's just I haven't been able to uncover it until now, and I think I'm at a point in my life finally where things are starting to make sense, and things that are happening are just happening because I'm ready for them to come to me. So
beautiful. Yeah. Everyday magic. So I would love for you to give us a little, or us meaning me and the women who are going to be watching this, a little kind of like double whammy sneak peek into one of the tips you might have shared in the program, or will be sharing in Homegrown coming up as you launch the full program, and as well as like an action step that we can take to start really living and embodying this way of being, so that we can have more vibrant bodies and minds and lives. So
perfect.
What do you recommend? What is your action step?
Let's do it. Let's do a Homegrown Sisterhood challenge right now.
Okay.
So, this was half of this was in a 2-week period, and half of it was not. But hydration is huge. We are all very underhydrated. And if anyone is like me and has 4 cups of coffee before 2 p.m., then you're very underhydrated. So
I'm sure that's a lot of people.
I know. I'm like, should I have one right now? But
no, drink water.
I know. So, okay, the tip, I guess, would be, the tip is to get as much water into your body as possible. Even when you're just thinking about drinking water, go drink water. When you wake up first thing in the morning, we really want people to start waking up. The first thing, don't brush your teeth, don't think about anything else, grab a cup of water. Bonus points for squeezing some lemon in there, because lemon is it's such a good cleansing tool, and it helps with detoxification and internal cleansing. And just by adding that little bit of juice into your water in the morning is like it's like a shot in the morning for health. So that's number 1. And then 2, this one's a little bit out there as well, but I feel like this is the space to do it. So cool. I want people to take their cup of water and take their shoes and socks off. And while we still can here in the beautiful weather, I want people to go outside for 5 minutes. So set the timer on your phone and put your phone down. And I just really want people to connect their bare feet with the earth and just kind of be. I want people to try to experience being in the ground and just, sip in your water, and that can be a small meditation on itself. but it's just such a magical experience being barefoot in nature, and that is the out there part of it. But I swear, I had my roommate do this. A couple weeks ago, I grabbed her hand in the morning and I said, "Come on, let's go. We're going to try something." And she's a little bit behind. I use her as my test dummy all the time, but I'm like, "Come on." I was like, "Shoes off, let's go. Grab your water." So we go downstairs and we went out to our little backyard, and I set my timer. We took our shoes and socks off. We walked around the grass, and it was, dewy and a little bit, there was some water in the ground still, and it's almost like an electricity that runs through you. And she looked up at me at one point, and she was like, "I really like this. I get it." I was like, "Thank you."
That's awesome.
What it's all about. So wake up and have some water, preferably with lemon in it. And the challenge part would be to get your bare feet out into the grass for 5 minutes while you're drinking that water in the morning.
Perfect. I love that. That's one of my favorites.
I love it.
So how can people stay in touch with you? Do you prefer, are you mostly on Instagram? Where do you prefer to connect?
Yeah, my website is a perfect place to start looking now, because I'll be putting up some content. I am so excited to talk about Homegrown. It's not even on the website yet, but it after the 2-week period, it went so well. Everything is going to be on there, hopefully within the next week, so people can check TeraGeishauser.com. And then also Facebook. I'm pretty active on Facebook I think it's just /Tera Geishauser. And then Instagram as well @Tera Geishauser.
Perfect.
I'm on Twitter, but barely. I don't really know how to use it yet.
Yeah, me neither. All right. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your brilliance and beauty and just expertise with everyone who's going to be watching this.
I'm so grateful that you had me on. It's just being around you as well is contagious. You are perfect at what you do, because you invoke just an excitement that is so natural and a wonderful experience, and it could go on forever. But thank you so much. It was great.
Thank you. That means a lot. All right. So ladies who are watching, until next time, have an amazing week, and we can't wait to catch up with you on your challenges, your lemon water or just regular water, and your feet in the earth, bare feet.
What should we have?
When you do that?
Should we do a hashtag?
Yeah, or just have them tag us on Instagram. Let's do that. So if you post it on social media, just give us a tag so we know. And who knows, maybe you'll be entered to win something special from both of us or one of us. So make sure you do that today for sure. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Have a great week. Bye.